Now we are officially in the TV kitchen. This is my TV kitchen. Look, it's a television studio and it's a kitchen at the same time. It's really good. No mess, no fuss. We're going to cook some wild food tonight. We're going to cook venison. Wonderful, delicious, simple. Some people are afraid that it's gamey. Some people like the gaminess. We're going to make it in ways today that kind of accentuate and neutralize at the same time. Yeah, I know. It's like you want to do that to people's personalities most of the time, right? How do I do that? We're going to make some beautiful venison, and what we're going to do pricey venison, which are loin chops. These are the filet mignon, the very beautiful. We're going to do medium venison, which is the sirloin, and we're going to make fajitas out of that. And then we're going to do the lesser expensive or ground venison, and we're going to go to Italy in our minds and make a Bolognaise sauce with venison, which in many ways is very traditional. So why don't we get started? What do you say, huh? Okay. The first thing we're going to do, and we got some food to cook here, so we got to get working. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make these beautiful loin chops. Now, the loin chops are very tender because they're filet mignon, but we want to really give them some killer flavor. So we're going to do a Hong Kong marinade. Hong Kong steak is a very popular steak in Chinatowns and big cities. And I'm going to show you how to make a quick Hong Kong marinade, and then we're going to give you a quick trick on how to make a great Hong Kong steak sauce. First, we're going to add to this bowl some dark sesame oil, some water, special water. Only chefs have this water. You have to just, whatever water you have will be okay, but my water is very special. And organic tamari, which is beautiful, doesn't have artificial coloring, very delicious. That's Chinese food. We're done. I'll see you. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, we're going to add all the beautiful color and flavor to this. Look at that. Isn't that cool? We have some beautiful Worcestershire sauce, which is great with meat, and some lime juice, which adds acidity. We're working towards the diffusion process. We're going to have some of these flavors take over in there and some of the flavors in there come out. Star anise. This is popular in Chinese food. Strong flavor of licorice. We're going to put in there. You like the way I say that? Licorice. I have some rice wine vinegar, more acidity. Then I have the quintessential garlic and ginger. You need that, otherwise it wouldn't be Asian. And then I have whole coriander seeds, nice and fruity and sweet. We're putting them in there. And we want to sweeten this a little more. I have evaporated cane juice or organic sugar. This is available even in the big supermarkets. It's a slow-burning carbohydrate, and for those of you who shouldn't be having white sugar in your food, you can do this, okay? So I'm going to add this to here because it's a much more complex carbohydrate than white sugar. And I'm going to stir that in, and then there's one more ingredient that's going to give it the viscosity we need. And this is Chinese fermented bean paste. This is made from soybeans that are fermented, and soybeans are much more nutritious when they're fermented because they're much easier for you to digest and maximize, okay? No, it's fermented black bean paste or soybean paste. It's similar to miso, but it has no other grain in it. You know, most miso has another grain. Now, I'm whipping this together, and this is our marinade, but what I'm going to tell you is a quick trick. If you want to make a great Hong Kong steak sauce, you do the same exact thing and cook it and strain it out. And after you strain it, you end up with beautiful Hong Kong barbecue sauce, which we're going to use on our chops. So this is the art of marinating. Put them in the bowl. And take your tongs and coat them. I always find it good to use a bowl because the marinade always goes to the bottom, so you can make sure everything gets evenly coated. And I would marinate these for 3 or 4 hours or 3 or 4 days, depending on if you have a refrigerator or not. If you have a refrigerator, you can do it for 3 or 4 days. Otherwise, if you're at a campsite or something, well, you never know, you know? I got this deer, want to marinate it. Well, you're going to go 3 or 4, go a little longer. Now, what I'm going to do is take the ones that have been marinating for about 5 or 6 hours, and I'm going to shake off some of the marinade because it's got some oil in there. And we're going to start grilling these on a nice hot grill as we go on to the rest of the show. And what I'll do, just for comparison's sake, is I think I'll put a couple of the ones that have not marinated a long time on the grill also, so that we can begin to compare later the flavor of the ones that are really marinated compared to the ones that just have a little flavor on them. That's a nice hot grill. What do you say, huh? Everybody got the smoke alarms turned off? Okay. Now, let's get rid of this and go on to the next thing. Venison Bolognaise sauce. We all like Italian food, right? You know, Bolognaise is actually meat sauce. but it's a very sophisticated meat sauce in its simplicity. So the first thing I'm going to do to make sure that our timing is correct, and if it isn't, don't worry, I've got something in emergency. I'm going to cook some pasta. Once again, back to clean food. This is brown rice pasta. It is not made with white flour. It is made with brown rice flour. It's another slow burning carbohydrate. You don't have to fall asleep after you have pasta. I know we do, but you don't have to. This is available in most big supermarkets and in the health food store. It's excellent. And you really, the taste, there's no real difference in taste. Texture, cooks a little differently sometimes it doesn't. But for those of you who are watching your sugar, watching your white starch, this is an excellent carbohydrate to add to your diet. And what the heck, you know, this is Ric's TV Kitchen. It's got to be a little different, so that's the way I am. I was a punk rocker in high school, and I was a rebel as a teenager, and I just try new stuff, you know? Anyway, a good Bolognaise sauce does not have a lot of garlic in it. The Bolognese are from the north, and if you know the Italians in the north, they're a little more like this, you know? They don't like to be too stinky. They like to keep everything more sophisticated. So, I've got some olive oil and butter combined in here, and what I'm going to add are shallots. I have beautiful organic shallots. You want one? Anybody else want an organic shallot? Take this home. Take them home. They're great. Ready? They're good. Those are from a little farm in Saugerties, New York. Excellent. And I'm just going to cook these shallots just a little bit and add a tiny bit of garlic. I'm talking like just a half a clove, just enough, okay? The caramelization process. Look at that little fire over there. Now to this I'm going to add my ground venison, and this is venison stew meat, and it's simply been ground in our little food processor in the back with the grinder attachment. And what I want to do is just coat this in the shallots and butter and olive oil. Real simple, but really delicious. Let's get this macaroni down in there. Okay? Now, I'm going to do one more thing and then I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to add at this point beautiful organic sea salt, trace minerals from the ocean, has not been stripped. It's got everything that you need in it, magnesium, calcium, and fresh black pepper. And these are little things. You know, when I talk about clean food, these little changes in your kitchen, taking that 1 or 2 trips a month and stocking your kitchen with good stuff that still has nutrients in it, pays dividends your whole life. I believe that. Look at me, I'm 93, okay? I believe it. These are the little things. If you want clean food, you know, you have to make that step. Sometimes the cheapest, you know, you wouldn't put the cheapest oil in your car. Maybe you would, but not if you liked your car. Okay, we're going to turn our chops here and move them over to the slower side of the grill because we don't want them to cook too hard. Ah, look at the little burnt star anise. And what I'm going to do with these now, come on, and I like to cook these medium rare because you have to remember that venison is not raised in a feedlot, so it's not force-fed fat. It has very, very little internal fat, so it's not going to stay soft if it goes well done. It's going to get tight, so you got to cook it very tenderly. Oh, I licked my fingers on television. Okay, our venison bolognese, the venison is cooking. Meanwhile, let's come over here and put together something very cool and quick. Fire up the stove. That's a boy. Kevin, this is a pan. We're going to make a fajita marinade. And what we're doing here for this fajita marinade is we're going Texas with this, you know. Fajitas are kind of what they call El Norte, the Monterey Valley, southern Texas, northern Mexico, or quintessential Tex-Mex cooking. But what we're going to do with this piece of meat here is I'm going to add balsamic vinegar. Now, traditionally, there might be something else like sherry or whiskey in traditional Mexican cooking. You don't really see much of that anymore. We're talking old-time cooking. I'm going to add some molasses. Balsamic and molasses together at a nice dark caramelization. Fruits it up a little bit. We like that word, fruits it up. Everybody fruit, baby. Fruit as a verb. All right. And some nice cold-pressed oil. This is safflower oil. Sunflower oil is another good choice. I'm going to stir these up. Put a little bit of cilantro. Okay, a lot of cilantro. And some garlic in there. And then I have 3 quintessentially Mexican dried seasonings. Cumin, clove, chili powder, and Mexican oregano. And I'm going to follow you and make you back up. See if knock them over. And What we're going to do in the traditional Mexican style is toast these off in a dry skillet because it releases the flavor. And I'm sure those of you on television can appreciate this aroma. The people in the studio audience I'm not sure about. Do you smell that? It makes a huge difference. When you do this, it really changes the character. And it's just like, you know, if someone put you in that pan, it would make a huge difference. Your character would change. You would open up. It would all release. Anyway, into the pan it goes. That is our fajita marinade. And I'm going to take this beautiful piece of meat. So this is slightly different than that stuff you buy called fajita marinade. That's usually just MSG, paprika, and a few other processed items. This is real deal. This is more what you would encounter if you were actually out on the range doing fajitas and you had an excellent, excellent consuela in your kitchen. So now I'm going to take this meat and guess what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to put it on the grill. All right? And we're going to let these guys cook to about a medium rare, and then we have a little fajita making team that's going to come out there. Meanwhile, I'm going to crank up my wok because I said light. We're going to do some fun stuff with that. Let's get back over here to our Bolognaise. You know what's nice about cooking venison is I don't have like a big puddle of grease in this pan, even though I've been cooking ground venison. Can you see me out there through the fog? Okay, this is mostly cooked at this point, so I'm going to very simply add some organic tomatoes. Again, beautiful California tomatoes, canned organic tomatoes. They're fantastic. Stirring them in there, I'm going to add a pinch of sage, a pinch of parsley, and a tiny splash of beautiful local New York State cream. Okay, just enough to kind of work with the fat, work it together. And we're getting really close on this one here. There's a little trick to the finish we're going to show you. I'm checking my noodles here, and they're looking pretty good. Let's see. Look like pasta to you? Imagine, brown rice pasta, and it still looks like pasta. Let me get to work on the Slang Jang relish. This is almost done. Come to the back table here. You guys can watch me in the monitor or from behind because we have fun doing this. This is something called Slang Jang. This is something I learned from some kooky Texas people a long time ago. It is the best relish you can possibly make, and it's very simple. It's beautiful colors. I have yellow peppers and purple peppers and red peppers and poblano peppers, which are a mild form of green chili, a little bit of heat. It's pronounced, by the way, poblano peppers, for those of you who have heard it pronounced other ways. I'm going to, what are you laughing at? I want to sprinkle a little cumin on there, and then I have a bunch of tomatoes, and I'm just going to, Kevin, let me sneak around here. I want to show them a great way to julienne a tomato. This is a great way to do this tomato. What I do is I cut off the top, bink, and then I quarter it this way, and very simply scoop out this part, which you can save for salsa or whatever, and then you basically have this nice little piece of tomato to cut into strips. No seeds, no mess, no fuss. Right in there. See that? And you didn't think the guy had knife skills, you know? I go to these chef meetings and they say, well, now that you're on TV, do you still cook? I'm like, hello, do I still cook? Yes, look at my hands. Okay, we want to put some white onion in here and red onion. These are all the good flavors that we like to have, you know, when you're doing some good Tex-Mex cooking. Let me grab a set of these guys, stir my Bolognaise, turn my meat. I don't cook that much anymore, though. I just kind of do this by mistake. Turn my grill way down. Okay, now, and my pasta's off, right? Yes. This is my Slang Jang. I have these beautiful peppers and onions and tomatoes. Now, that would be almost enough, except that I'm going to add a little mustard to this, okay? Because mustard picks up the palate. And, you know, don't forget, Texas, especially in the South, there were a lot of Germans that settled there and brought mustard into the diet there. It's mostaza in Mexico. And then you can add about a cup of your favorite barbecue sauce. This is my favorite barbecue sauce because this is my barbecue sauce. But my favorite barbecue sauce is homemade barbecue sauce. If you make your own, cool. If you have one that you like, fine. We're tossing this up. Now it's still raw. And there's a very, very complex cooking technique that's involved. But first we have a secret ingredient, tequila. We're going to pour some tequila on this. because we like the tequila. The tequila make me happy. And I'm missing my wok. Was there a wok on that burner over there before? What are you going with my wok, young lady? When you cook, you can take the wok. You are the director, I am the chef. How in the world is a chef supposed to cook without a wok? Mannaggia maring, as my grandfather would say. Okay. Now, my Bolognaise is looking really great here. So I'm going to turn this way down low, and I'm going to take my pasta out while that wok gets hot again, and drain the pasta. I'm going to put the pasta right into the Bolognaise sauce because I really want that kind of coating. I want the sauce to get in there a little bit, and we're going to just stir it around. Oops, splash it on my coat. Get it in there, and let this settle down, and there's a finishing touch to this. Meanwhile, Kevin, I'm coming over to the wok. Get your camera ready because we're going to rock. We're going to rock in the wok tonight. I've got a couple of kitchen people that work with me, Heather and Justin. I'd like for them to come out because they're going to be the fajita assembly people. But first of all, and they do a ton of work for me, I'm going to show you how complicated it is to cook Slang Jang. I have a wok, it's pretty hot. I have this, and I go like this. Okay, that's it. You don't really cook it. You put it in a hot pan, and you just kind of let it wilt right in the hot pan. So what you're doing is searing, higher, like that. Whew, it's got a handle. All right. So instead of just your usual peppers and onions, you're going to get these delicious peppers and onions. So watch this. I'm putting this back here. You guys need a set of tongs, right? Here you go.
That's as much to cook it?
Yeah. I was going to sit in the bowl and kind of just finish wilting all by itself. Now I'm going to take my beautiful fajita meat and give it to Justin, and they're going to wrap up fajitas while I finish up the rest of this stuff. Okay? You look at this stuff. This is great, man. If you gave this to your kids, or if you gave this to friends at a barbecue and said it was excellent steak, no one's going to say, you know what? I detect venison in the house. It's gorgeous, delicious, lean red meat. Nice and rare. Look at that. Kick butt, Justin. Okay, now we have our chops here before we present the Bolognaise. And I'm going to show you, watch this. Chefs have all the tricks. I'm going to show you this beautiful presentation. This is the way I'd like to present these at a party. I have grilled vegetables. I have all local New York stuff from this beautiful Hudson Valley, Tech Valley, Capital District. It's a great place for food. So I have some brown rice. I have grilled baby cabbages when they're small. I put a little bit of the same marinade from the meat on these vegetables. I have gorgeous Japanese eggplant, scallions, bell peppers. Now, if you're coming to my house for dinner, and I take about 5 or 6 of these chops, and I pile them up on a long plate like this, you're going to come to my house and say, you know, I don't really like venison. You're going to say, yeah. And now I'm going to take the barbecue sauce that I made by cooking the marinade and then straining it out, and I'm just going to drizzle it over everything here. Okay? This is Asian barbecue, okay? This is Hong Kong barbecue venison. Now, the last thing we're going to plate up is the Bolognaise, and this is really an important part of Bolognaise. I'm going to get it in the bowl, brown rice pasta, venison Bolognaise. Do not forget, the most important garnish is nutmeg, a little grated nutmeg. This is traditional on Bolognaise sauce. It picks up the flavor. Folks, why don't you come on up and have a taste? And then beautiful Parmigiana, right? Parma. Oh, look at that. I got my guys rolling food. Heather, you want to help plate some food up? Because I think we got some hungry people out there that want to taste this stuff. My name is Ric Orlando. You've been hanging out in my TV kitchen. Good night. Say good night, everybody. Don't forget Henry. Woo. This is Terry. Thank you. Well, let me clean my mess. You guys want to eat something now? You can't just pick up a chop and attack it.